I read an interesting study the other day. A survey was given to young people based on the question, what would you like to be when you grow up? And this was the result. For male teenagers, 12% listed professional athlete as their preferred career, followed by 11% who wanted to become an online creator. For females, 13% wanted to become a medical professional, while 11% put actress as their dream job. However, overall, YouTuber and blogger made top 5 for both genders. Now, to be fair with you, I'm not surprised with those numbers. The main reason as to why content creation is highly admired isn't because of the fame or the money, although they're not bad things, but the real reason is because on a psychological level, it is the form of work that fulfills your most basic human need, which is freedom. Think about it. When you create content, you decide when you create it and what you create. Anything other than you controlling your own time and work is slavery. And yep, I said it. Slavery still exists. It's just that you are given something in return, like a house or a car. That's why a simple yet very meaningful study cannot be overlooked. I guarantee if that study was given to people in their late 30s or 40s, the results would be very different. That's because most of those people are already wired to say what society wants them to say. But unlike adults, when a question like that is forwarded to young people, they don't hold back from what's important to them. The results will be natural because they aren't entirely wired and are in their most authentic state. This tells us two things. The first is that the online economy will continue to grow whether you like it or not. And two, the interest coming from both genders will mean that any type of online creative work will be desired in the future. And you might say yes, but everyone can't be a YouTuber or an online creator. And to that, I would say you're missing the point. The point is to use and utilize the internet. Who you are and what you do does not matter, right? That is unique to each person. Everyone has unique interests and passions. As you can probably see on the internet, if you just took a moment to scroll, you would see that some people make film reviews. Other people make videos based on certain sports like basketball or football. And then on a different side of the internet, you would see that people make videos on meditation or spirituality. The internet is just a platform where you play out those interests and passions. Content creation is not saturated, and it will never be saturated. Let me tell you why. As long as people change, content will change. Meaning, as long as content changes, people will continue watching others for their uniqueness. So you might ask, why mention all of that in a video that's practically about caring less? And it's because everything starts here. For the majority of people, their dream job or desired outcome will never end up happening because of their inability to stop caring about what others think. You see, others judging you for who you are is just one part of the process, but it is the hurdle that most people get stuck at. And before I mention anything else, just realize that caring what others think is just one negative experience that you need to become accustomed to move to the next stage. It's always been like that in life. Positive experiences only come to you depending on how good you are at tolerating the negative ones. They come after one another. In simpler terms, the quality of your life depends on your ability to manage through tough times. Now let's dive into the different ways I've personally stopped caring about what others think a long time ago and how you can do the same. The first thing is to be comfortable with being different. The world has ingrained in you that being different is bad, right? Let's be honest, it's just the way humans are structured. From the classes you went to the clubs that you supported, to the games that you played, to the films that you've watched, you wanted to be like everyone else. You wanted to pick the most popular of everything because that's what you thought was right. I don't blame you, but that's the thing. Do what everyone does, you get the same result. Do what's different, you get a different result. It's funny, but we wouldn't need self-improvement if everyone could just think for themselves. If something unknown was to come to this world, say an alien from space, and I was to give them advice on humans, it would be to see them as mind traps. Everywhere you go, everything you see is a belief or an ideology from someone else. And the trick is to fall under these traps, these belief systems. And once you do, you can't truly think for yourself. And before you say anything, no, the answer is not to become a monk, because they've got their own belief systems. See where I'm coming from? The prescription is to start taking routes you believe to be right, regardless if it is different or not. On a deep level, the only reason content creation is highly admired, based on that study that we mentioned earlier, is because it is the way of work that allows people to embrace the real version of themselves. It isn't about content creation, it's about being a creator of your own path. Start embracing difference. Start to be very comfortable with being different, and you will realize that you care less about what others think. When you get a very weird desire in your mind that makes you very excited, before you distract yourself with, oh, this is very different, or this has never worked before, or I better stay in line with everyone else, do the thing. Don't think about it, because it is often your contradictions that will make you unique and successful. The next point is to go inward on your values. The main problem with self-improvement and self-help is that it discards values. There have been very egotistical people here on YouTube and other social media platforms that won't get this perspective. You have different values to me. I might have different values to others. Although I'm giving you advice, your values might not align with my advice. I do believe that there is right and wrong. We can't deny that. But one advice fit for all, fit for everyone, is the biggest BS I've heard, just from the pure fact that everyone is different. Let me give you an example. Most people are against the school system, which in the big picture, it's just one way of doing and learning, right? But those people who are against it then go and do the same thing that they're against. They try giving people advice saying that their one way of doing something is the only way. They state that it is the only one you will need. No, people need to experiment with that piece of advice. It might work for some, it won't for others. Values differentiate people. To really know someone and to give them advice, you must know their values first. This is a big problem, and I'll tell you how it all links to you caring about others. Don't focus on other people, because when you do, you go into their imagination. Just think about how ridiculous this all sounds. You steer your own life in the direction based on another person's imagination and values. You are motivating a thought that occurred in their brain. Even other people are not where they're supposed to be because they have also followed others. They are also not where their values are. You are entirely misdirecting yourself when you put the focus on people, because people are not where they're supposed to be. To improve yourself is not to be exactly like your favorite YouTuber or idol. You can be inspired, but you are not entirely like him or her, because you, my friend, might have different values to them. The lesson is to learn from people, take a step back, and measure it against your own values and see what aligns and what doesn't. It is impossible, absolutely impossible, to have meaning, be purposeful, or do something for the greater good if you are against your own values. Just ask yourself that question before caring about what another person has to say. If I'm going against my own values, how can I possibly provide the greatest good for others? You can't. You must be you first to actually bring something to the world. This leads us to the next important thing, which is to bring the utmost meaning to what you are doing. The brutal fact is that you are human. You care. Things matter, right? Let's not trick ourselves into believing that we do not care, because deep down, it is in our nature to care. We're emotional beings, but the point I'm trying to make is that it's never been about not caring what others think. It's always been about choosing the thing you want to give the most fuck about. That is the process you need to follow. Don't just follow anyone's advice and be careless about it. Choose what you want to care about the most. Take a step back and discard all else that does not align what you want to care about. To simplify, The only reason you mind the opinions of others is because the thing you are pursuing lacks meaning. If it was extremely important, if your desire for it was that strong, you wouldn't care about others. In fact, you wouldn't even care about the external entirely. That's why you need to decide on a vision. The most successful people do this. They decide on an outcome, a vision, and they feel eager, energized, and excited driving towards that outcome day in, day out until they reach it. If you have no vision, you have nothing to strive for. A person that is still is not moving. And when you're not moving, you have nowhere to go and no option but to fall into the imagination of others because quite frankly, you don't have one. See how it all links? It's okay to care about what others think, but not to the extent that they swim in your own imagination. And to tell the truth, most of the time you aren't looking for someone else's feedback, but you are rather seeking validation. One of the simplest forms you can tackle this is to praise your own work before anyone else does. Feel that what you are pursuing and bringing to this world has meaning before anyone else sees it. That is the point where you are no longer begging for validation. I had this very weird realization the past few days, and I want these videos to be thought-provoking, so I want to ask you this question. You might think someone else can give you this thing, right? Whether it be love, money, anything material based that can truly fulfill you. But have a think back in your past. Maybe you got that relationship that you always wanted, or you got the job offer you wish someone would just give you. Think about a time when you extremely wished that the external would give you something, and think about the time when you got that thing. Did it really fulfill you forever? I know it didn't, because you are watching this video. There is nothing that someone else can give you that is of high value. I'm talking about infinite value here. And I was thinking, and I came to a conclusion of that no one can give me this continuous fulfillment, because only I can give that to myself. And the way you do that is to ultimately stick to your own path and values. I want to dig deep into your subconscious mind, the idea of your own path and values. The only true fulfillment will come through that. Crafting out your dream life because it is aligned with every bit of you. Now, I want to close this video off with a set of solutions and practical advice. The first thing you should do is to acknowledge that what you have been doing your entire life is not working. If that means that you have been people pleasing, and in that caring about every single opinion that you come across and seeking validation on top of all of that, just realize that it is not working. Only the truth will allow you to move on. You can't make right what's not been working for you your entire life. It's a bit common sense that if you are trying to please others, it's a dead end. You cannot appeal to everyone. Never. It's never worked and it will never work. I can prove this by the law of average, which is that the more success you reap, the tougher skin you must have, as the more people who know about you, the more people find a reason to hate you. So just understand that it is not a viable strategy. So why not choose a different strategy? Why not choose a different plan? Which is that if you want to chase after your dream life, an extraordinary life, I say extraordinary because it's something that ordinary people will not understand, then you need to be in the middle. Being in the middle means to be independent of both the good and the bad. That is the only thing you can do. To stick to your own values, the right and wrong for you, be grounded in them, and take actions that is aligned with them, not with others' imaginations and thoughts. In this strategy, you need to know what you want from life. And once you do, give meaning to that thing. Make the meaning of it powerful. Another very strong reason as to why the first strategy of people pleasing will not work is because people admire authenticity, not fakeness. So you are literally shooting yourself on the foot when you try to appeal to everyone, when that's not what everyone finds attractive. When you are authentic, you can't go wrong, because you aren't hiding the things that are unique and special about you. Choose a vision. What are you willing to struggle over? Decide the pains you are willing to suffer for. If you have the wrong goal, likely to be created via the imagination of others, then realize that you are fucked because you are on the wrong train to the wrong destination. You are going nowhere, so change your course of action. Because remember, you are always choosing, whether you like it or not. So choose the right thing. And once you do, go against the grain. Whatever it is, don't try to be normal. And please, the moment you realize you're being fake and not authentic, stop and correct your course of action. That's all from me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I have a free guide in the description below which includes my approach to social media and how I do my online creative work. So if you want to check it out, it's down in the description below, and I guess I'll see you on the next one.